In 1968, two epidemiologists appear on a television program to explain their concerns about the future. One scientist is worried about viruses caused by airplanes, but the other thinks that humanity will defeat viruses. But fungi only control animals. If climate change continues to affect the planet, fungi may evolve to control humans. In 2003, Sarah starts her day by making breakfast as a birthday present for her father Joel, and her uncle Tommy joins them. They hear on the radio that there has been some trouble in Indonesia. Before leaving for school, Sarah rummages through Joel's drawer to get his broken watch and some money to fix it, but she is also curious about a knife her father has hidden. They find neighbor Danny taking care of his grandmother. Danny tells him that they haven't visited in a while, so Joel makes up an excuse and tells him that Sarah will visit them later. After class, Sarah goes downtown to fix Joel's watch. While the watchmaker is working, his frightened wife arrives. The watchmaker does not understand what is happening. Then Sarah goes to her neighbors and Danny's wife Connie brings her cookies while Sarah pets Mercy the dog. Sarah flips through a collection of DVDs, not noticing that Nana is having a seizure. Sarah picks out a movie to rent and on her way out sees Mercy staring at Nana. Sarah sees army planes flying very low. Later, she sees on TV that there have been many violent incidents throughout the city. When Joel comes home, Sarah gives him the watch. The movie she borrowed from Connie is one of Joel's favorites, so they watch it together, even though Sarah falls asleep. Tommy calls Joel and asks him to get him out of jail. He got arrested while he was in a bar because some guy got crazy and they got into a fight. Sarah wakes up when she hears noises outside, helicopters, screaming, and general commotion. She comes out of the bedroom, and when she cannot find her father, she turns on the TV and discovers that there is a national alert telling citizens to stay indoors. Then he hears a thud at the window and realizes it is Mercy, but Mercy fights his grip and escapes. Sarah goes to check on the neighbors and finds the door open. She enters the house and finds it dark. In fact, Sarah does not see the blood on the floor until she steps on it. The blood trail is from Danny, who is injured and calling for help. Nana has strange mushrooms coming out of her mouth and when she sees Sarah, she tries to attack her, so Sarah runs out of the house. Just then Joel and Tommy arrive with the truck. Nana also leaves the house and Joel kills her, explaining that it is the only alternative. People in town have been affected and their neighbors take Nana to the town hospital for a checkup. On their way out of town, they see a house on fire and people asking for a ride, but Joel tells Tommy to ignore them. As they approach the highway, they find that many others have had the same idea of getting out of town. Tommy tries to drive through the camp, but the army blocks the place. Army planes start flying lower, and the center of town is a mess. People are trying to escape, leaving no room for cars to pass. But the truck is surrounded and the army drops a bomb as well. The truck is hit by the explosion and the family is stunned. When Sarah wakes up, she finds that her ankle is injured and Joel helps her out of the truck. Then a car crashes into the truck, starting a fire and blocking the alley where Tommy is. Joel picks up Sarah and makes his way through the streets, which are filled with infected people feeding on innocent people. So Joel starts running into stores and houses to lose him. But the man does not give up and follows them until they come out. When he is about to attack them, he is shot by a soldier. Joel tries to tell the soldier that they are not infected, but the soldier is ordered to kill them anyway. When the man fires, Joel jumps away, dropping Sarah, and a bullet grazes his side. The soldier still tries to shoot him, but Tommy arrives and kills the soldier. Joel goes to check on Sarah and finds that the bullet has hit her. He tries to stop the bleeding, but Sarah hugs him before dying in his arms. 20 years later, Boston is desolate and quarantined, its borders guarded by the army. One morning, a lost child arrives, and the soldiers let him in for mandatory testing. Unfortunately, the testing machine indicates an infection, so the child is given a lethal injection. The boy's body is put on a truck to be taken to a place where infected organisms are released. Joel works there and is not bothered by the fact that he has to throw the young bodies into the fire. But he also secretly works as a smuggler. One afternoon he witnesses the punishment of a group of people who tried to enter the quarantine area without permission. There he finds a soldier who buys him illegal uppers, paying with money or cigarettes. The soldier tells him that he has found a vehicle that he can sell to Joel, and they decide to make the transaction when the soldiers on guard duty are bribed. The truck will not have a battery, so Joel's friend Tess negotiates with a dealer to buy one. Even though he had already bought it, the dealer sold it and kept his money. The dealer's guards beat Tess when she demanded answers, and now the dealer won't let her go because he's afraid of Joel and what it will do to his reputation. Their conversation is interrupted by an explosion that blows up the wall, affecting everyone inside. The drug dealer is gone, so she takes the opportunity to escape and discovers that someone had placed the bomb on an army truck. Tess discovers that the Fireflies and the army are shooting at each other in the middle of the street. Tess asks the army for help, swearing that she is not a Firefly, but is arrested. Meanwhile, at the Firefly hideout, Ellie hears noises outside while chained to a stove. Each time a doctor comes to check on her health, tired of having to take the same tests every day with no explanation. In the afternoon, Joel goes to see a friend who has a radio and people pay him to send messages to the outside world. Joel gives him cigarettes that the soldier gave him in exchange for news about Tommy, who escaped to Wyoming years ago. Joel asks where the Wyoming Tower is, and his friend tells him. When Joel returns home, he takes all the tools he has hidden under the floor and begins to make a plan to reach the Wyoming Tower. He discovers that his watch is broken again, but he continues to wear it as a reminder of his daughter. The next morning, Joel sees Tessa's injuries and she tells him what happened with the drug dealer. Joel gets angry because he needs the battery to find Tommy, so Tess promises him that they will find out who bought the battery and get it back. Meanwhile, leader Marlene is being questioned by her followers. They want freedom as much as she does, but they do not understand why they have to guard a random girl chained in a room and why they are randomly blowing up army trucks. Marlene explains that the targets are not random. They are keeping the army distracted and away from their hideout because they will be taking Ellie west to Salem's radio tower. She shows her follower why Ellie is so special on a piece of paper, earning his loyalty. Joel and Tess go to the market to pay some informants to give them the location of the battery, and decide to enter the building through a hidden tunnel to surprise the buyers. Meanwhile, Ellie still tries to break the stove she is chained to, but to no avail. Marlene then gives Ellie her purse, including a knife she loves, and eventually frees her from the chains when Marlene explains that she was the one who saved her and that she knows Ellie's real name. Marlene sent little Ellie to military school. Elia wants to go home, but Marlene will not let her, even though she eventually tells her what the secret purpose is that makes her so special. Soon after, Joel and Tess use the old subway tunnels to move around the city without being seen. Then they find an infected body attached to the wall that looks like a mutated monster. They eventually reach the fake wall they need to move to enter the building, but become concerned when they smell gunpowder and see blood dripping on the floor. They find the merchant and his men dead and discover that the battery is dead and they were killed for the scam. They then hear noises coming from another room, and when Joel goes to investigate, he is attacked by Ellie. Joel holds Ellie's knife under his feet and ignores her when she asks, focusing on Marlene and her henchmen. Joel accuses Marlene of being the one who turned Tommy against him, but Marlene explains that they need to get Ellie out of the quarantine zone. But since she and her friend are injured, they cannot do that, and Marlene wants Joel to do it since he is a smuggler. And Marlene promises him that she will pay for the supplies he needs if he brings Ellie back without a scratch. Joel and Tess discuss and agree to the deal, but Ellie does not like it and Marlene has to convince her that it is her only option. Ellie takes the knife back and grabs the bag before leaving with Joel and Tess. But they have to wait until nightfall, so they wait at Joel's house. Ellie finds a book with a note inside that seems to be some kind of smuggling code. A song from the 60s means nothing, and something from the 70s means new stock, but the 80s just has a red cross next to it. She asks Joel what the cross means, but Joel does not answer and goes to rest. A few hours later, Joel wakes up and hears Ellie saying that she is looking forward to being on the other side of the wall because she has never left the city. Joel asks if Ellie is the daughter of an important leader, but Ellie tells him nothing. Ellie smiles and tells him it was a joke to confirm his suspicions about the code. A song from the 1980s equals trouble. Just then, Tess tells them they have to leave. The army patrols the streets at night to remind the citizens of the curfew, but Tess and Joel have a special smuggling tunnel that leaves them just outside the border. The trio sneak around to avoid being spotted by the army lights, but as they go around an old wall, they encounter a soldier going about his business. The man puts them on their knees, ignoring Tess' offer of a bribe, and uses a machine to check them for infection. Joel and Tess are fine, but when he approaches Ellie, she stabs him in the leg with the knife. The soldier points his gun at Ellie to kill her. Driven by the memory, Joel jumps on the soldier and beats him until he dies while Ellie watches. Tess takes the soldier's car and sees that Ellie is infected and shows it to Joel. Ellie shows him the marks on her arm, which prove that she has been infected for days, but it has not spread. They hear the army approaching and escape through a hole in the fence, leaving the town behind forever. In Joel's apartment, the 1980s hit "Never Let Me Down Again" plays on the radio. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching.